everyone. I want you to look under your chairs and see if there are any pieces of papers. Kindly put it inside your bag, and after our class, you can put it in the proper trash bin. Arrange your chairs properly, everyone. Mr. Secretary, do we have any absentees for today? Okay, all are present. Very good. Have you prayed already? Okay. Good morning, everyone. You may now take your seats. Before we proceed for today's discussion, let us look back to what have we discussed yesterday. What is the topic of our lesson yesterday? Yes? Of course, we have the different dishes that are involved in a menu. Can anyone please give me an example of what are the dishes involved in a menu? Okay? Yes, we have an entree. We have the soup. We have the main dish. We have the dessert. We have the beverages. Okay. So for today, before we proceed to our discussion, I have prepared a video presentation that will give you an idea on what are we going to tackle for this morning. So, what are the guidelines in watching a video presentation? Yes? Observe silence. Okay, focus on the video being played on the screen. So I want you to always remember those guidelines so that we can participate great in our discussion for today. So, as you can see, the video is all about the 50 years of food plating. Well, can anyone please tell me what have they observed on the video? Yes? Okay, there are different kinds of food plating as years goes by, from 1960 up to 2015 and until the present. What are the different kinds of platings that you have observed on the video? Okay? Yes, we have the rustic plating. Yes. We have the molecular plating. Okay. Yes. We have the Instagram friendly. Instagram friendly is the very recent kind of plating that we have for today. So with that, I have prepared an activity for the class. For today's activity, I will divide the class into 4 groups. The first and the second line on my right will be the first group. The third and the fourth line on my right will be the second group. The first and the second line on my left will be the third group. And the last 2 lines from my left will be the fourth group. I will only give you 2 minutes to do the task. The activity for today is you have to put the pieces of the puzzle in your chairs for the different kinds of categories for food plating all throughout 1960 to 2015. I have here categories such as minimalist, molecular, stacking, and rule of 3. After putting the pieces back together, you have to identify which category does the picture belongs. Is that clear? Okay. So before we proceed to our activity, may I ask what are the guidelines on doing an activity? Yes? Okay, always observe silence. Yes. Participate with the group. Okay. Yes. Mind your own business. Okay. So I hope that you put into your mind the different kinds of guidelines that we have heard today. Are you ready, class? You have 2 minutes to start the activity, and after that, you will put the puzzle pieces in the blackboard. Each box has a numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. That will be the puzzle box of your group. Okay, so 2 minutes starts now. Okay, class, time is up. Let us check on your works. For the group 1, they formed this picture and they think that it's under the category of stacking, which is correct. For group 2, this is the puzzle picture that they formed and they think it's under the molecular category, and of course, it is correct. For group 3, this is the form picture of the group 3 and it is under the category of minimalist. And the last group, for the group 4, this is the picture they formed during the activity, and also it is under the category of rule of 3. So everyone is correct with the task they do earlier. Kindly give yourself 5 claps. Okay. Okay class, as we are done with our activity, we also identified the different kinds of categories of food plating, such as minimalist, stacking, molecular, and the rule of 3. Today, we will discuss what could be the possible factors that affected such different kinds of plating. For today, we will discuss today's lesson. We will discuss the 5 basic elements of food plating. These elements are always observed by our chefs whenever they are plating. Okay, to start our discussion, let us proceed with the first element. Our first element is create a framework. Start with drawings and sketches to visualize the plate. Always find an inspiration with different kinds of pictures on the internet and try to assemble your food on a practice plate to work on executing visual. So for today, I will show you how to create a framework. Okay, so for today, I will show you how to create a framework. Example that we have our own plate. Our plate should be consist of the carbohydrates, the protein, and the vegetable. Let us visualize that our protein is the square kind of legend. This will be our protein. And of course, the circle can be our carbohydrates. And of course, we can use different kinds of vegetables. For example, we have carrots. We have vegetable salad with onions. Of course, we can also have garnishes like bell peppers, sliced bell peppers. So this is an example of a framework. Later on, we will try to execute this visual and try to put it in reality. So for our second element, keep it simple. Select one ingredient to focus on and use space to simplify the presentation. This will help the diners to figure out what to focus on. On the context of food plating, the chef always focuses on the main ingredient or the main dish, which is our protein. So later on, we will focus on our plating with the protein that I'm going to use. The third element is the balance the dish. Play with different colors, shapes, and textures to ensure diners are not overwhelmed. The presentation should not overpower the flavors. In terms of colors, this can be seen with the vegetables we are going to use. Of course, for the carrots, we have the orange. For potatoes, we can have yellow, and of course, the leafy vegetables, which are green. Different kinds of shapes, this can be seen with how you cut the different vegetables and how you are going to present them on the plate. So, always remember that colors, shapes, textures, they should always support the overall plating and the appearance of the dish that you are going to present. The next element, the fourth one, is get the right portion size. Ensure that there is right amount of ingredients and that the plate complements the dish. Right proportion of protein, carbohydrate, and vegetable creates a balanced meal. The chef or our nutritionist always aim to to provide us with a nutritional food dish that they are going to present to us. So our plate should be consist of the protein, the carbohydrates, and the vegetables, which is an example of the created framework earlier. And of course, the last element is to highlight the key ingredient. This is the same with the number 2 to keep it simple. Our idea is to always focus on the main ingredient or the main dish. Ensure that the main ingredient stands out, but also pay equal attention to other elements on the plate, such as the garnishes, sauces, and even the plate itself. There are different factors to consider in terms of plating. We have the garnishes for the toppings to add decoration. We can also use different kinds of plates, but the white is the most basic and most recommended kind of plate by our chefs. So these are the 5 basic elements of food plating that we are going to use later as we put our created framework into reality. So earlier, I created a simple framework that I'm going to put into reality, considering we have protein, carbohydrate, and vegetable. Okay, so today I prepared different kinds of dishes to be put on our plating. We have the pork chop for our protein. We have the rice for our carbohydrates. And of course, we have different kinds of side dishes for vegetables. We have blanched carrots, blanched bell pepper, and of course, the onions. So let's try to put our framework into reality. Of course, always make sure that you wash your hands before you touch any food. Let's start with, of course, putting our protein. Protein is actually different kinds of meats, such as white meat for chicken, fishes, and of course the pork. Then let's add our carbohydrates. And let us try to add our vegetables. In order to add or bring out the brightest colors of our vegetables, such as potatoes and carrots, we use the blanching method, wherein we dip the vegetables into hot water and then we dip it on the cold water to stop the cooking process. So your created framework should visualize what is the actual plating that you are going to use. So once again, always observe the 5 different basic elements of food plating. So that is all for our discussion of the 5 basic elements of food plating. To really know if you have learned something from our discussion, we will have an activity. Using the same group for the earlier activity, the 4 different groups, I will provide each group of the ingredients that they will use for the food plating. We have your carbohydrates, we have your protein, and of course your vegetables. I will also prepare your own plate that you will use for the plating. Before we proceed to our activity, I want you to know that you will be graded according to the following criteria. Criteria for food plating. Number 1 is the concept, 30%. Your plate should be observed with the different basic elements of the food plating. Creativity, 30%. Your group should add different creative ideas in order to present creativity to your plating or the dish you will present later on. And of course, the presentation or the overall appearance of your plate using these limited ingredients for 40% and total of 100%. I want you to remember the different guidelines in order to observe the cooperation and the cleanliness of your group during the activity. I will only give you 5 minutes to do the task, and your 5 minutes will start so the timer is already done. The plates are already on my table, so I will evaluate the plating of the different groups. So, I've done evaluating your presentation. Kindly go back to your seats and arrange your chairs. Okay, so I've evaluated your presentation today, and I would like to commend everyone for their job well done. But there is a group that stands out from everyone that has 94% of the total grade, and that is the group 3. Okay, clap your hands everyone for the group 3. Okay, so for today, before we end our discussion, I also have some questions for you to answer. What is food plating? Yes. Okay, food plating is the arrangement of different ingredients on a plate that uses art to visualize and attracts the diner. Very good, take your seat. Next question. What are the 5 basic elements of food plating? Can anyone please give me one? Okay. Create a framework. Number 2. Keep it simple. Okay. Number 3. Balance the dish. Number 4. Yes. Get the right portion size. And the last, highlight the key ingredients. So those are the 5 basic elements of food plating. Next, why do you think is food plating important? Okay. Very good. Food plating is always important because it adds value to our food. The chef creates and puts creative idea for the plating presentation in order to add value and market up the food for the diners. This makes them well known for a certain kind of presentation. Therefore, food plating is important because it adds value and importance to the dish itself. And of course, our last question for today, how can food plating be enhanced? Yes? Okay. The recent idea for food plating is Instagram friendly. Food plating can be enhanced if a chef or anyone in the food industry keeps up with the trend in the food combination or the food design, and they assess what their customers likes, they assess what their customers wanted to improve with the dish they've already tasted. So keeping up with the trend and assessing our customers can be a factor to enhance our food plating presentation. So that is all for today's discussion of the 5 basic elements of food plating. Do the class and have questions to clarify? None? Okay, so for today, let's go on to a quiz. Class, can you prepare 1/4 sheet of pad paper? And I want you to answer quietly, observing silence, the 5 questions that will be presented on the board. Mind your own paper. Number 1. This is an art of what should be the food plating looks like. A. Drawing. B. Sketch. C. Framework. This is an art of what should be the food plating looks like. A. Drawing. B. Sketch. C. Framework. Number 2. A decoration or enhancement for something, especially food. A. Garnish. B. Centerpiece. C. Slices. A decoration or enhancement for something, especially food. A. Garnish. B. Centerpiece. C. Slices. Number 3. A material where you start assembling your food to put your vision into reality. A. Paper plate. B. Practice plate. C. Disposable plate. A material where you start assembling your food to put your vision into reality. A. Paper plate. B. Practice plate. C. Disposable plate. Mind your own paper. Number 4. How many ingredients should be the focus of food plating? A. 1. B. 2. C3. How many ingredients should be the focus of food plating? A1, B2, C3. Plus, food should be easily handled and A. Arrange, B. Serve, C. Dispose. Food should be easily handled and A. Arrange, B. Serve, C. Dispose. Okay, finalize your answers. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, exchange with your seatmates. Kindly write your name, date to day, corrected by. Be honest as you check the papers of your seatmates. Okay, so let's answer. For number 1, art of what should be the food plating looks like. Correct answer, letter C, framework. Number 2, a decoration or enhancement for something, especially food. A, garnish. The correct answer is A, garnish. Okay, number 3, a material where you start assembling your food to put your vision into reality. Correct answer, letter B, practice plate. 4, how many ingredients should be the focus of the food plating? Correct answer, letter A, 1. And last, food should be easily handled and correct answer, B, served. Okay. So with that, kindly count the correct answers of your seatmate. Write the total score above. Okay. Okay, class, kindly raise your right hand if I call your score. For those who got 5, kindly raise your hands. Okay, 25. For those who got 4, for those who got 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So for a total of 31 quiz takers, so the class got a 93% passing score for today's quiz. That's very commendable. Kindly clap your hands for everyone. Okay, so before we end our discussion for today, our lesson, I hope that you learned something with the 5 basic elements of food plating. So as a continuation of our discussion, kindly write on your notebook and take a reminder for your assignment. On a 1/8 illustration board, create your own conceptual framework of food presentation observing the 5 basic elements of plating. So this will be submitted tomorrow. Kindly write your name at the back of the illustration board. I want you to be creative as you can in creating a conceptual framework. I want you to also remind you that your conceptual framework will be your guide for our next practicum, where you will put into reality the vision of the conceptual framework that you will pass tomorrow. Is that clear? Okay, does the class have questions or clarifications? Okay, so if none, kindly stand everyone. Look under your chairs and pick up if there are any pieces of trash or papers. Put it inside your bag. Kindly arrange your chairs as well. Thank you for today and goodbye, class.